Rite of Passage is a program that I've curated that celebrates the history of graffiti in New York City. The fact that we were able to erect an actual two-scale New York City subway car, to me is an amazing feeling. I don't think it's ever been done in the history of the culture, and to me that's the ultimate environment where it really needs to live. That's the ultimate canvas on the side of the train. The interesting thing, even with so-called graffiti, because initially it was called writing, the people who did it called themselves writers because what they did was they wrote. Some argue that all the innovations were made as early as 1974. And this whole street art movement that's happening today, you had guys like Jean-Michel Basquiat and a whole host of other folks who were doing this long ago. So, there's always an ebb and flow. There's always a renaissance. There's always a new spark that lights things up. And right now, street art is experiencing a new renaissance, and Banksy is at the forefront of that movement. And he's enjoying success and attention. And the difference between now and then is there's social media. And if you're an artist today and you want to have success, if people don't know who you are, people don't necessarily care. So you can't be mad at a guy who learned how to master social media. And at the end of the day, his work, he's trying to say something with it. And I think any form of artistic expression that can encourage people to think out of the box and think about a bigger picture, I'm not mad at that. What becomes confusing is so many people label what he does graffiti. And sure, to a certain extent, what he does is illegal, and that's what is akin to quote-unquote graffiti. Writing is an actual language, and a language that was born here in New York and in Philadelphia. And if you're fluent in that language, you can go anywhere in the world because there are regional dialects. People in Australia do this whole thing, graffiti or whatever, and they have their own style. See this art form, and I get to meet the people who create it, I'll have something in common with them and I can relate to them. If you go to Russia and you don't speak Russian, you're gonna feel intimidated. And that's what happens when people see writing on a wall. They think gang members, they think the absolute worst. But because there's no education, people see this stuff and they get scared. They just write it off. It's not art. As long as it's not art if it's on my property and I didn't sanction it. I get it. You don't want someone to write on your property. I don't want people to write on my property either. At the same time, if folks had a better understanding of where it came from and what it means, we can find creative ways to make it a positive thing for everyone. Europe has embraced it. The world has embraced it. I certainly advocate creating opportunities like this to educate people and to provide a positive forum. My name is Sasha Jenkins, and this is the New York Mint.